Okay, this says you want to obtain a sample to estimate a population mean. So this is the sample size formula, which the sample size is N, for finding a sample size about a population mean. And what the formula is it's this Z alpha divided by 2 times sigma, your population standard deviation, divided by your error squared. Well, you can see that they give me this. So that is this piece, 41.1. They also give me the error. So how do I find this value? Well, there's lots of different ways. They have tables that are already made for you that you can look it up. They have cheat tables, but I'm going to explain how you could set this up in Google Sheets for yourself, and then you would never have to set it up again. You'd have it on your formula sheet. So to do this, and maybe in the future I should just have this set up for you, right? This is our normal curve, right? And the means down the middle and all that kind of good stuff, but that's not what I want to show you. Notice it says 90%. Anytime you look something up in a table or even use Google Sheets, 90%, which is here in the middle, the Google Sheets or the table either gives you this Z value or it gives you this Z value. Well, think about it. Doesn't the entire curve have to add to, let me use a decimal and not a percent, have to add to 1 or 100%? So what's happening is that means that this area and this area, okay, is going to be half, and that's what you're seeing this right here. So in other words, I would take 1 minus 0.9, which of course is 0.1. That's actually what they're calling alpha. And I divide that by 2. Why do I divide that by 2? Because half of the area needs to be here, and the other half of the area, 1 minus 0.9, 0.1 divided by 2, and half the area needs to be there. So when you look up a Z value, let me get red to make this real good. You either could look up 0.05, but that's going to give you a negative value. And you typically want the positive Z value. Well, what would you look up? You actually would look up 0.05 plus 90. So 0.05 plus 0.90. And this is why you're going to see me actually look up 0.95, or I'm going to make a formula with 0.95. So I wanted to make that clear first. All right, so let me see if I can do this. This is where I said a lot of times you'll find cheat tables, and these are great. I mean, this automatically tells me I should get this 1.645 just right away, and I don't even need to do this formula. But what if I asked you to find a 91%? Uh-oh. What if I asked you to find a 97%? Uh-oh. So let's actually make a formula here. And you can see that this Z critical value is the same as the Z alpha. All right, so I'm just going to make me a nice little formula here. You probably don't even see all this stuff up here. Okay, so I'll let you know what, I just ignore that, okay, for right now. So what I want is to find a sample size based on these values that I put in. Now I know mine was what, 41.1 and 0.1. And I want to make an actual formula to get a Z value. So how you do this is you use the equal NORMS Okay, so it says an inverse standard normal distribution function. And I put my X value, 995, which is, not 995, 95, which is funny, it says X, but that's the Z. I don't know why Google Sheets calls it an X, but that's the Z. So notice, and I close my parentheses, notice that's the same number right here, the 90%, 1.645. So what I probably would do, because I am lazy and I don't want to have to keep doing this formula over and over and over, is kind of the junk. Like I said, I don't know what all this stuff is up here that I have. I probably would have a cell up here that I would always put in my formula, right? So in fact, I think that's probably what's happening over here. Sorry, I got a bunch of stuff everywhere, but probably what I would do is I would put my confidence level. And in this case, it was 0.90 because that's the number you're going to change, right? The number that I'm going to actually look up for the Z value, let's just call it look up Z, is going to equal this value plus, in parentheses, 1 minus this value, divided by 2. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing that, add that bottom area, okay, plus the middle area. And as you can see, I get that. So now I can just use this NORMSINV and click on this value. So I made a formula. And the reason I did that, watch this. Okay, so 0.70, I should get 1.04. Let's just try it. 0.7. Ooh, look at there, rounded. If I do 0.99, that's this one. So it makes a nice little formula. So when you take the quiz, hint, hint, wink, wink, that now you have all this area that all you have to do is type in these two values. Well, let's say this value, all those values right there. If I can find a way to color those, I'll color code them with that. These others, you made formulas, you don't touch, and this is going to be a formula. So now from here, back to my problem, looking at this, I open a parentheses, I do my Z times my standard deviation divided by my error, close parentheses, and I square that. And the answer, as you're going to see, is this 457023. And I hit enter and get my answer. So that's just kind of cool because now I have created a sample size formula that I can use in my Google Sheets when these values change, right? If I have a different problem and my standard deviation is 3.5 and this is 0.01 and maybe this was 0.99. All of these change for me based off of, I'm gonna go back and put that one back in there. Oops, I went too many places. Based on, I now have my own formula built.